I exploded my music business in 18 months, starting from $25,000 in credit card debt, and I was flatline at zero for 13 years. In this video, I not only want to pull back the curtains on every single thing that I did, but I want to shed light on exactly how you can do the same thing. So I want to start out by just sharing my story and how this all really happened. And I think you're going to resonate with this because you're probably in the same situation. So I was 25K in debt, working 3 jobs, sending 50 cold DMs per day, and I was still broke as hell. So for 13 years, my music career was flatlined at zero. I had gone from being an artist, going that route, producer, going that route. I even started doing like social media for other people and other marketing services to try to just make some money and learn these things. And by the end of 2022, I was 25 grand in credit card debt, didn't really know what to do, was only making 2 grand a month as a basketball coach. And my wife had to actually give me a pretty big reality check. I don't remember exactly word for word what she said, but in my mind, this was the quote I remember. I believe in you, but you need to get a fucking job and you need to make some money. And so 2023, what I ended up doing was I was working 3 jobs, sending 50 cold DMs a day. I was basketball training, working at a coffee shop here, this coffee shop, Rooted in Walnut Creek, and I was doing social media for real estate agents. Now, the one thing I did have was I did have a service to offer artists, which was teaching them how to produce their own music. And, you know, if you don't know, I mean, artists, you do know this, but artists are super broke. Most artists are broke, and most artists don't want to learn how to produce music. But even with that little subsect of artists who had some kind of money and artists who wanted to produce, I ended up finding the mentor who had changed everything for me to help me grow my business. And that was Jeremy Pogue. I have other pictures of him. And I'm really excited. I just joined his new program as well. And basically, fast forward, I ended up scaling to $20,000 a month in November of 2023. And so I wonder if I can, oh, sick. I can draw on this. Cool. So I'll show you basically from January till like May, I basically made like, I don't know, maybe like a total of 3K from my music business. Right. And I had also paid 15K for coaching, meaning I had paid other people in 6 months, right? January, February, March, April, May, something like that. And it wasn't until I met Jeremy that I really ended up scaling. And one lesson you can take away from this already is this is going to sound really like corny in a way, but I think it's important. I didn't give up. And I didn't give up specifically. I didn't give up on coaching. Like, I didn't give up on it just because I had lost 15K. That didn't stop me from finally finding the right person who did end up taking me there. And so if you're at this point right now in your music business and your music career where you are struggling financially in music, it's not your fault. I get it. There's a lot of bad coaches out there. I've experienced it. But that doesn't mean that you should still continue to go at it on your own. And what's ended up happening, and here's a great example, is my client Ange. Ange is 21 years old. Right? She's 21 years old. And when she hired me, let's write this down. She hired me in, what was it? 2023, right? Oh, let's draw it here on the side. She hired me in 2023 to learn production. Then after she learned production, she was like, hey, can you teach me how to build my business? And I said, yes. Right? And she was in college. Here's basically what the results were. She was in college and she ended up getting to 5K a month. Pretty cool. But then she took a break. she was like, you know what? I need to focus on college. I need to focus on college, focus on school. This is too much for me right now. I said, great. So the next part of the story is super cool. In April 2025, she was making $2K a month. And she was like, Lee, I want to scale. I said, let's fucking get it. And she went from 2K to 10K. And this was September, I believe. September 2025. So from April, May, June, July, August, September. So about 6 months. She went from 2K to 10K a month. And now she's averaging 10K a month. And I'll show you these. I've got so many other client results here. Let me see if I can find these. I just had them. Here we go. I've got so many other client results, right? Close a new client for 1K for 2 custom beats, collected half up front. Leezy, got my first sale, right? Noah, Leezy's helped me so much in scaling my business to 10K a month. Honestly thought it was impossible, but he's helped me so much, had a massive impact. 2K sale. That's the same one. Noah collected, let's see if we can I draw here? No. Got a $1,500 client. Somebody closed an in-person client. One of my clients got paid $3K in cash. Another one of my clients got $2K. My client Baby Boy Blue got some deals, right? So I could just keep scrolling on and on and on. The point is I've gotten a lot of other client results. And not just for them, but what's helped is like, dude, I've been able to build the life that I've really, truly always wanted. Like I travel a lot. Like this is from, I fucking love this picture so much, bro. We've got Jeremy, right? We got Jeremy. How hammered do we look at this picture, bro? You already see the drinky right there, right? But this was us in Mexico for Jeremy's retreat. And this was, 2023, I believe. And this was just a dope retreat, us in Mexico, hanging out, having a ton, probably a little too much fun, right? This is me and my wife, Erica, in Italy, in Rome at the Colosseum. Dude, it's always been one of my dreams to go to the Colosseum. So got to go do that. This is me meeting with one of my clients, Tyler. He's amazing. And my boy, Corey, one of my best friends. And I went to LA for July 4th with my wife. This is me meeting up with my mentor, Austin, and I really, really want to touch on Austin really quick. So when I started, and he's my mentor, so I want to share this. I hired him in February. Let me make the ink a little less. There we go. I hired him in February 2024. My close percentage was 18%. And I was charging $3.5K to teach recording artists how to produce their own music. Let me put him there. Yep. When I worked with Austin, in 8 weeks, I closed at 36%, charging $5K. So shout out to Austin Medlin, because Austin Medlin, I want to get his name fully visible, because he deserves it. Austin Medlin. We hosted a little retreat, like a mini retreat together in Tampa, St. Petersburg. But think about this really quick. I'm going to touch on this. You're talking about artists are broke, and I was charging them $5K to learn how to produce their own music. I was already charging $3.5, which was good. But then I moved up to charging $5K. So, but I wanted to show this as a picture of like a cool place that I went, but really I wanted to share this case study as well. This was at Austin's retreat, but this is Jeremy as well. We are at a super dope retreat in Austin, Texas for Austin Medlin, and it was cool to get to hang out with Jeremy a little more. And then these are a bunch of other super high-level entrepreneurs. This is my boy Elliot. He's a fitness coach for dads. This is Zach. He helps physical therapists build their business. I think he just hit a 50K month. This is my boy Adrian Leong. Adrian's a freaking savage, dog. He's now doing 100K a month. All right. This is my boy Alvin. I have a really funny story I will not share here about me and Alvin, that we have a fitness bet. But this is my boy Alvin. He helps people lower their back pain. And I think he was doing, I remember last I heard from him was 30K monthly recurring revenue. and he's scaling now. I don't know his exact numbers. So these are just like super high level people that I get to be around. And it's amazing. And it's like I get to be around dope people. I get to travel when I want. By the way, business expense, all of this, all of these trips, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, not this one. These are all tax write-offs. Like these are all business expenses. So I get to write these off, right? So really what I want to break down is exactly the 3 pillars that I go through now and what I've been able to create to help my clients like Ange, like all my other clients, and what I've been able to do to actually scale my music business working with artists. So the very first thing that we're going to touch on is called your offer. And so what we do is we charge high ticket. Now, for the purpose of this video and this training, we're just going to call high ticket anything 1K and up. That's not really high ticket. Like in the world that I'm in, dude, like people are charging like so much more than that. But essentially, I like to look at high ticket as a comma in the price tag. Let's just call that high ticket. So I'm going to walk you through exactly like a couple of things that you need to do if you want to build a high ticket offer. And by the way, this can work for custom production, meaning if you're doing producing, mix, mastering, or coaching. Like you don't have to do one or the other. I just got on a call yesterday with someone. They're like, I don't want to be a coach. I'm not trying to sell courses. Great, don't. You don't have to. This works for custom production too. But here's the things you need to think about. First of all, you need to know who you're going after. Now, this is like a really commonly said thing. Who's your ideal client? But I really want to touch on a couple things that you absolutely need to do. So number 1 is green flags. This is like literally a training, bro. Like I'm really getting into it. Green flags. And I'm going to write this in here. Tangible. I'm going to explain what this is. Tangible, intangible. And red flags. Oops. Fatter. And red flags. Tangible. Intangible. And so what that means is, what are the tangible things that an ideal client would have? For example, let's say you're doing custom production. A tangible green flag would be they own a computer, microphone, headphones, and audio interface. An intangible thing might be they are entrepreneurial, they put out a lot of music, they're growth-minded, right? Those are intangible green flags. Red flag, tangible, would be they're unemployed. That's a make or break, black and white. They're unemployed, they don't own a computer, they record their music on BandLab. An intangible would be they always blame the industry, they blame other people, they think they need connections, they don't want to pay producers up front but would rather have split royalties on the back. If you're coaching and they're intangible, let's say you're doing a music coaching offer, because I've got plenty of people in my program who do that too. An intangible would be they think coaching is bullshit, right? So that's the first thing you need to come up with is your green and red flags. Okay. The other thing you need to come up with is problems. You need to brainstorm every single problem that your ideal client is having in and out of music. Okay? Because if you can communicate your ideal client's problems to them better than they can, you will ultimately be the one that lands the deal. And then the final thing is your actual offer itself, but I'm going to walk you through the things that you need for that. So, pillars, which is basically your step-by-step process. The pillars are your step-by-step process that you take your clients through. If you're a custom producer and you're like, well, I produce, mix, master, what are the steps? Walk them through a timeline. Like, here's what we're going to accomplish. The first phase is creative direction. I'm going to take you and give you your beat. I'm going to get the vocals back from you. I'm going to help you with the creative direction. Phase 2 would be mixing and mastering, right? Phase 2 is like, I'm going to mix, master, get those first like revisions down. And then maybe phase 3 could be revisions, or phase 3 could be, we're going to actually come up with a release strategy and get your release ready with cover art, all of those things, right? So those would be the pillars. The next would be the actual deliverables. By the way, let me also give an example for coaches. If you're a coach, like for me, my pillars in Rapid Fire Music Academy, which is where I was teaching recording artists how to produce their own music, phase 1 was gear up, get all the gear, get the mindset. Phase 2, producing instrumentals, melody, drums, arrangement, and then phase 3 was mix mastering. Now, deliverables are what you're actually going to give them, right? So if you're a producer, that could be a beat, mix, and master. You can also give them a performance version, and you can give them an acoustic version where you just mute the drums. You can give them other bonuses as well, right? You can do a bunch of other bonuses. But, and if you're a coach, we could do course, we could do one-to-one call. Actually, and honestly, you could do a course and one-on-one calls for your clients if you're a custom producer. Like Ange has a vocal recording course and she does one-on-one calls. I would recommend doing one-on-one calls if you're a producer. But if you're a coach, so we could put here prod, and then we can go coach. Course, one-on-one calls, text access, right? Like you're going to text them. Text access, community, and you could even do group calls. Right? All of these would be things you can do. And you can also have in-person events. Like I've got an in-person event coming up with my clients in March 2026. I'm super pumped. So that would be, and then obviously price, right? If you're doing custom production, definitely no less than 1K. But if you're doing like a coaching program for people, like I've got a client, I've got two, how many coaches do I have right now? I think I have 4 coaches that I'm working with. Actually, and we can even say 1K to 1.5K minimum. 1K to 1.5K to start. I think Ange is charging 2K. And I've got another client, Baby Boy Blue, who charges 2K. But if you're coaching, dude, no less than 3K to start. 3K to 5K start for producer. And this would be starting coach. 100%. No less than 3K to start. Okay? Cool. So the next phase that I want to walk through, that's the offer part. Okay? The next phase of this is marketing, and we're going to install what's called my music social funnel. Now, what does that mean? Basically, the way I do everything, and I think I have another video on this, but we're going to walk through this really quick. It's really like, this is what took me from 10K to 38. Actually, I'm almost at 40K followers. So let's call it, I'm at 39.9. Let's call it 40K. 10K to, and I know I'm going to get there. 10K to 40K followers, 0 to 20K a month in 7 months. 0 to 20K a month in 7 months was off this music social funnel. What is it? So the first thing is you gotta start running paid ads. Now, here's what I'll say. If you've run paid ads in the past and you're like, dude, paid ads don't work. They're too expensive. I never get any qualified leads. I get it. Again, it's not your fault. Like, it's not your fault just because you probably haven't been taught paid ads properly. And like, that's okay. Because that was the same as me. Because what you're probably doing instead, and I'm going to actually use red to indicate no, is you're probably doing, here, let me draw this better. You're probably doing cold DMs. You're probably sending traffic to a website, LOL. I'm going to talk about why that's not good. You might be trying to do sync. You might be doing word of mouth / referrals. Right? Here's why all these things don't work. This is hard and not scalable. By the way, I have experience with, I've never done this at all. I always thought sync was stupid to make money, but I can talk about why it sucks. But I have done the website thing. Cold DMs, hard and not scalable. I have a client named El Marquis who was sending, I think he was sending like 20 to 30 cold DMs a day, and he would only take 4 sales calls a month, and he'd close like maybe 1 or 2. So it's like, it's hard and it's not scalable. Website, here's why the website is not good. Because when you pay Instagram and say, "Hey Instagram," I'll just draw it out. If you're like, "Hey Instagram, I want to send people over to my website." Instagram's going to be like, "Okay, I'm super down to help you with that, but it's going to cost you money." Because Instagram doesn't want to get people off of Instagram. Instagram wants to keep people on Instagram. So when you send people to your website, Instagram's like, "Okay, I'm down, but like you're not really doing something that's in line with what we really want." Plus, if you have a website, there's nowhere to talk or communicate or have messages with people. Sync is stupid because it takes a long time to get paid, if at all. Long time to get paid. Plus, it's basically a shot in the dark. Word of mouth and referrals isn't scalable or trackable, not scalable, and really it's also not predictable. Not scalable, not predictable. So with paid ads, that's why paid ads are by far the best thing you could possibly do. And so here's exactly what I'm going to walk you through. Here's how it works. So you're going to run a video on Instagram that's vertical, right? That's going to be, that looks so bad. Let's give you a face and arms because that was starting to look really sus. It's going to be a video and it's going to be a reel. Right? And basically, the whole point of it is just to send people over to your Instagram profile. Right? You've got your little picture. Hold on, let's draw this out real good. Right? You've got your picture. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at drawing. All right, there's your little picture. All right, there's your little username. All right, I'm not going to go through all this, but you know how this works. You've got your little posts, right? Whatever. I suck at drawing and I don't really care. I don't get paid to draw. I get paid to help other people get paid. But yeah, so you're basically going to send people to your Instagram profile. That's the whole purpose. The reason this works so well is Instagram loves it. Why? Because you're doing something that's in line with what Instagram wants. Remember, we talked about the website thing here, right? This is in line with what Instagram wants. You're telling Instagram, "Hey, Instagram, I want you to send people to my Instagram profile to keep people on the platform longer." Instagram's like, "Awesome, dude. We're super in line with that. Let's help you do it." So your cost per lead is going to be anywhere from $1 to, at the maximum, I mean, I'm getting leads for $5, but it is more of a B2B offer. Let's just say $1 to $5. Usually it's more like $3. It's like 1 to 5. And what you end up doing is when people go visit your profile and click follow, what you're going to do is you're going to send them a DM. Okay? So really simple. Let me we can keep that there. So they're going to go from here to follow to then DM. Let's do it over here. Right? And you're going to send them the DM. Right? So let me explain this part to you. This is what I love the most about this. It's kind of like a cycle. Right? They see your ad. Right? They're then going to hit with a DM. But they're also seeing your content. Oh, actually, it is kind of more like that. Yeah, perfect. It's kind of more like that. And you're also going to book a call with them, which we're going to talk about in phase 3. Right? So it goes really from here to here. Right? And then from there, you can take your content and retarget them and run more ads. But it's kind of like a cycle, right? So you can also look at it like a funnel too. I've had that as that's usually how I draw this out. That's why it's like this was so bad. But Ad is the top of the funnel. Then you've got here content /DM. And then we're going to go book a call. But I'm going to explain like how the whole call booking process goes. But this is extremely profitable. Like this process is so much easier to set up. Here's what you don't need. You don't need a website. And you don't need like a funnel. This is a funnel, but you don't need like a website funnel. You don't need tons of followers. You don't. Like my client Ange right now has 6K followers, but she's making 10K a month at 5K followers. My client Baby Boy Blue has 4K followers. Like I've got so many case studies on this exact process and how well it works. It's extremely profitable. Like the month that I made 23K, I'm going to walk you through this month. The month that I made 23K, the first month that I did my first 20K month, it was 2.9K ad spend. I got 2K followers. I think I converted 6 of them. 6 clients. 23K. So it's extremely profitable process. And I really do also want to talk about the next part of the process, which is sales. So here's the way that we do it. It starts with the DMs, right? And in this thing, and one thing I do for my clients is I actually give them my 10K DM template. This is exactly what got me from 0 to 10K a month and from DMing over 10,000 artists. So I want to take the $ out because it's not just replying to the money. But essentially, it's really going through a process where you want to qualify and discover. Like, for example, if you're a producer and you want to get artists who have a budget, you need to ask them, hey, are you working with a producer right now? Yes or no? If they're not, be like, cool. Like if you were to partner with a producer, what budget do you have set aside to be able to invest in the growth of your music? You can ask people that. What do you do for work? Are you doing music full time, right? Like you can ask these things in the DMs and get good answers from people, right? Now, from there, we're going to book a call. We're going to use Calendly for that. Now on Calendly as well, we've got questions, right? We've got qualifying questions. We've got email nurture sequence, email and text. And then we also, I want to talk about this video. We have a post-booking video. Basically, it's like a breakdown video. Let me write that. That's really what it is. It's a breakdown video. Okay? It's a breakdown video. Basically, explaining your process, explaining the deliverables, talking about exactly what it is you're going to be selling them. And then we have the actual sales call. So here's why I want to pause. If you feel like sales is sleazy, I don't know if that's how you spell sleazy. Sales is sleazy. You're wrong. I'm going to tell you why. Sales is a service. Hold on. Sales is a service. Let me actually write that. When you sell somebody something, you are serving them at the highest level. You are serving them at the highest level. You're not being sleazy. You're helping them, right? If you're not good at sales, if you're like, dude, I don't really have a lot of experience with sales, that's probably going to make you better. That's probably going to make you better at sales because you're going to be more authentic and more genuine. So you don't need a ton of experience with sales, right? If you've had bad experiences in the past, right? You've been burned. Let's say you've been burned in the past. I get it. Again, not your fault. I've been burned in the past too. You don't have to let that affect the way you approach sales. Sales is a service, and it doesn't matter if you have experience or if you've been burned in the past, right? So that's important. And what you're going to do is I tell people we're going to do what's called a one call close, meaning you're going to get money on the call. One of my clients, Baby Boy Blue, who I've touched on a couple times, I'm going to tell you about this. I don't think he would mind. So before he hired me, and by the way, he was running this process, taking sales calls month 1, and this was before he hired me. B Leezy, before Leezy instead of BC. Before Leezy, he went 0 for 20. He took 20 sales calls and closed 0. Month 2, which is when he started working with me, after Leezy, he went 3 for 3, meaning he took 3 sales calls and closed 3 sales calls for over $3K in cash collected, and he got his business back on track. Right? Essentially, Liam was here, then he hired me, and he went like that. Before Leezy, after Leezy, LOL. Right? So, this is that process, right? This is the entire process of how I exploded my music business in 18 months. This is how I've helped all of my clients. And if it's something you want to get involved with, I can help you, right? If you want. So what I do is I run a program that's called Music Money Mastery, where we literally build everything together. Now you're like, oh, course, guru, totally. But let me share with you the way that this is different is this is a build with you program. Meaning I'm literally going to build everything with you. I'm going to make your offer, write your ad scripts, give you the DM template, create your sales process, coach you on sales, and give you your sales framework on sales calls. It's build with you. It is absolutely not a glorified course. What does that mean? A glorified course is where you get vids, group calls, and the vids, basic. The group calls, hella people, and you can't get your question answered. Hella people with irrelevant questions. I am irrelevant. I don't know if I spelled irrelevant right. Don't care. With irrelevant questions. And then I'm going to put it in quotes. Text. I'm going to put, it is text. Hold on. Text support. And the reason I put it in quotes is because the person who you paid takes hella long to respond. And then you've got a community. But it's a bunch of other people who are also confused. With the build with you things, we have one-on-one calls with me. We do have text support, but the way I do text support is I literally hit you up. I hit you up every single day. Yo, what's going on? What's on the agenda? Voice notes, Loom videos. I'm building everything with you, right? We do have a community, but our community is engaged. Because right now we're actually running a contest. Basically, whoever posts the most on Instagram in the month of December, I'm going to give you $200 cash. So everybody's posting on Instagram and giving each other love and sharing feedback. I even have a group chat going on with all of the ladies in my community because I know that being a female in the music industry can be a really big challenge. So I put all the ladies together in a little ladies group chat. So I'm getting the community going there. We also have an event coming up. So I've got contests. We've got group chats. And we've got events. We have an event coming up March 2026. Really excited for that here in San Francisco. And we do have videos. But the way I do it is it's like an instruction manual. What do I mean by that? It's choose your own adventure. Meaning you're going to get to choose your own path because everybody's on a different path and everybody needs their own customized client success journey. So I'm going to walk you through what that looks like. And it's like an instruction manual. It's not like a bunch of basic, vague information. It's an instruction manual on how to set everything up. So if you're interested in this, like if you just want to, figure out what's going on here, here's what you can do. DM me on IG at Leezy the Gifted. And just send me the word ready. That's how I'll know you watched this video. All right? Cool. And I mean, look, you can take me up on this offer or not. Here's your situation though. If you get off this video, here's your options. There's 3 options you've got. right? Number one, this is a decision, is do nothing. You could do that if you wanted. You could just do nothing, and you could just stay stuck with where you're at and just keep doing the same things. You could try to do it yourself if you wanted to, but I'm sure that you're smart enough to go figure all of this out on your own. The problem is you've already been doing it on your own for hella long, probably years, probably 5 to 10 years, and you're at this point right now and already have not gotten the result. So I don't think doing it yourself is the best option. The other option is basically, fuck, I'm just going to put it here. Do it with me. Music Money Mastery. Hire somebody who's actually been where you've been, accomplished what you've accomplished, and help other people accomplish what you want to accomplish. So it's kind of up to you. If you do want to choose this option, then follow these instructions. Well, I'm going to sign out now. I've got a one-on-one call here in 15 minutes, but this video was fun. I appreciated getting to work with you here for a bit, and I look forward to speaking with you. Peace.